Remember, if you're doing this on your car, this is upside down. Turn your computer monitor upside down and you'll be acing the hole, I promise. I don't know, I might turn this video upside down when I upload it just to make this look a little easier. Sometimes looking at stuff upside down is confusing, but in my case, it's upside down, and I don't know that I've ever replaced a timing chain right side up. If that makes a difference. I know I could do it, but I don't think I've ever done it. Well, anyway, took another swig of my Viva Mexico. Better than what we got here. I like glass bottles too, so it's either that or beer. Today it's going to be that. Well, anyway, the only thing I've done from the last you seen, I took my pointer off. I loosened these bolts right here. These 3 bolts. They're not very tight. Like I said, 20 foot-pounds worth of torque yet, I think. We're going to check and make sure our dots are still lined up. They are. Which, the only one that really matters of being straight, granted you may have wire in your timing chain, is this bottom one. Get them together. They should point right at each other. But what you really need to look at is you can actually turn the cam. I can't myself right this second, but you got slack in this chain. You should actually be able to turn the cam this way or turn the cam that way. This slack is what causes an engine to get poor performance. It's tight on this side, but it's loose on this side. That's why I'm replacing it. But you need to make sure that this bottom gear right here, this is the one on the crankshaft, make sure that that dot is pointing straight up, and this one right here is pretty close to it. It could be off a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So be extra careful there and make sure that you're doing what you need to do. But the bottom one's when it really matters, because you can align this one to this one. It just needs to be in the right scheme of things. So, and actually if you do this, you can actually time this engine. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. It's been done. I done it one time by accident. I put the dot up and the dot up on a small block Chevrolet. Runs like a scared haint, runs good. Only one problem. Your timing mark will go from your, well, we're upside down here. I know it's gonna confuse you, but anyway, your timing pointer will be on this side of the engine, technically. Anyway, you get the darn point. You get my point, you get my point. Anyway, it moves your timing mark. Say your timing pointer's on this side, and it puts your timing mark, when you put your timing light on it, it puts it over here. Yeah, it moves it from one side to the other. Other than that, she runs fine. So, it's, you know, it's one of those deals. This bottom sprocket, they make pullers for these. This one here, I'm hoping I can do take the little pry bar and the hammer peck method and get it off. I don't want to go dig that puller out. I don't want to fool with it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 little bolts out. Now mind you, you need to keep up with these bolts specifically. There's other bolts in this engine that look like these, but they are different length. So you really, really do not want to make that accidental thing. If I ain't mistaken, they can even be confused with the oil pan bolts. I'm checking to see. Oh yeah, they can be. They're the exact same thread. But, you know, for me, don't know if you can actually see what I just done. I'll show you. I just threaded them. Crud. Can't see what I'm seeing. Turn my thing around. Anyway, I just threaded the bolts in. Pretty as you please, right there. In oil pan holes. It's all good. We're not worried about it. So, that's that. Come back to this darn timing chain method. Madness. Turn that where I can actually see it. This one down here, you do not want to turn the camshaft, and that's not wanting to come off easily. So what I'm going to do is, granted this is not a hammer, I'm going to, there we go, just a tap. Doesn't require a whole lot. You don't want to turn it, and then we can get the gear. It's the easiest way of doing this, mind you. Take the gear, stick it up against the other one, and work the chain off the gear. Get the gear down out of there. Bingo. One gear. Well, I would throw this on the ground. It would probably shatter. We're not going to do that just yet. We need to compare and make sure we got the right parts before we destroy anything. Take the chain off. Just look at the chain. Look for wear. You know, it's not evident that it's got any extreme wear in it necessarily. It don't look good. It's definitely stretched. The gears are definitely worn. They're worn pretty good. If you look, they're getting sharp. If you can see my finger. They're getting sharp. This gear right here is getting pretty sharp. So is this one. So it's time to be replaced. It had a looseness in it. We all seen that. So this gear right here, I'm hoping I can give it a couple pecks and just a little pry and get it off. Sometimes no. It's not wanting to come. Mind you, you can't put ridiculous amounts of force. It's not good on it to put ridiculous amounts of force right here on this main cap. As long as you use your hand, which you can't even see me, as long as you use your hand like I'm doing, you're not going to hurt anything. Because I can tell you right now, a compression stroke in this engine puts out a whole lot more torque. Even dumping the clutch puts out a lot more torque than what I'm putting on it. We may have to actually get the puller out. I don't know. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'll show you some more when I can get to that point. I may have to go get the puller. I don't particularly want to, but we'll see what happens. So, hang on. Okay, I fought with it and fought with it and fought with it. I decided that the video footage that I made of this that I'm going to cut out, because it was pretty graphic in language. It pissed me off and I cussed it. But anyway, as you can tell, there's an extreme amount of wear in this gear. And the thing is, I did use the puller. I broke it. Yeah, just used a jaw puller behind it. And I did break it, so I can't use it. Even if the one I've got's wrong, I'm screwed. So we're gonna hope it's the same. Let's get you in on a good view of what I'm actually fixing to do. That's good enough, I think. But anyway, I'm fixing to pull new parts out and take a gander. New parts. New part, old part. Does it line up? Does it look right? I'd be darned. I'd be hot dogged. It's the same thing. The only difference is this one's got 3 keyways, okay? It's got one that is like a triangle, and one that's square, and one that's round. Those are different advances. This is the set advance into an aftermarket cam. The square one, if I ain't mistaken, is the correct one for a stock application. But there's this thing that men never read called instructions. We're gonna look real quick and make sure, because I know it's 2 degrees plus, 2 degrees minus. I know that before I even look at this. Remember, the crankshaft angle is half of the camshaft angle. The camshaft angle is half the crankshaft angle. Before the camshaft will correspond advanced. You just want to read this? There you go. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not. You can try. You can pause it. I ain't gonna read it out loud. For example, we're starting to Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Let's see. For factory set time, use the O timing mark on the crankshaft sprocket and the factory keyway shown above. Factory keyway is the rounded one. Advanced keyway and retard keyway. So factory keyway is the rounded one, which is that one. Yep. See, I would have put it together wrong. I would have actually put it together retarded. Wow. Leave me to be retarded, wouldn't you? Like I said, I always read instructions, if you don't know. We're going to look at this real quick. That Woodruff key is a little out of whack for this adventure of getting this off. So, using the blunt end of a chisel, because I'm not trying to mangle it, I'm just trying to reseat it to make it square. And it shouldn't take a whole heck of a lot to do this. Just tap, tap, tap. There we go. Straighten the Woodruff key up. And if you're wondering what a Woodruff key is, there's 2 of these boogers. Right here's a Woodruff key. Focus, damn you. Focus. There you go. That's a Woodruff key. This is one that I took out for the harmonic balancer, and yes, I beat it out with a damn chisel. If I can get it to where you can see it. See there my chisel mark? No big deal. Take a file and hit that a lick and put it back in. Actually, I think the darn thing came with a new one. I'm not sure if it came with a straight one or a half moon. Not sure. We'll find out. I may use the new one if I've got it. So, but anyway, we've got that looking good. We need to do a little preparatory maintenance before we put this together. A few things that are overlooked. First thing, get out your brake clean. Take a rag, good clean rag. This is just a little grease off my fingers, ain't gonna hurt nothing. Not full of dirt. Lubricate it. Lubricate it good. Clean your crank. Cleaner this is, the easier this crap will go back together. I promise you. This right here We do not want to clean it. It's got a skim of oil on it. We do not want to touch it. If there's any dirt that you have knocked loose, little critters that have flew in, things to that nature, yes, wipe those off. But anything else, no. Leave the oil on it, and I'm going to show you what else we're going to do. We're actually going to just take a little axle grease. Axle grease is fine. You can use assembly lube, but you know, for this project, I can't say that I'm going to bother digging in the cabinet for my assembly lube. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Other grease gun. Hang on. Out of spaghetti lube. Hold on. Problems in Denmark. Somebody send help. Please send help. Problems in Denmark. Let's get us some grease here. I've got a tube here. I'll just get me a slop of it. I ain't gonna load a grease gun. I ain't gonna dig that other one out either. Actually, I think the other one's in Mater. But anyway, axle grease. We're just gonna put a little, because that's a, you know, it runs against it. This is a Molly extreme pressure grease, which is basically what assembly lube is any dang way. We're just gonna put that around there because the back of this gear actually rides, as you can see, like a bearing surface. Some of your aftermarket gear drives actually use a copper or bronze ring that rides in here to prevent block wear. So we're just gonna grease that. Like yo. I mean, that's axle grease is good. You don't have to go out and buy assembly lube. I mean, this gets oil. Grease is actually more sustainable than the motor oil that's in the engine anyway. It'll actually stay there a little bit longer than motor oil. And that'll start getting oil within, I don't know, 20 seconds of the engine being running. Yep, had some more. So it's no big deal. This shaft needs a light oil. A light coating of oil. And I've got to get a bottle of oil here. Well, I'm working on that. Where in the heck did old Mater stick it? I think I got a good idea where he didn't put it. I'd be walking awful funny. Yep. Don't see what I'm looking for. That ain't what I want. Well, crap. I am divorced from my darn power loop. Where in the hell did they put it? Oh, I'm getting agitated. I can't find it. Crap. Well, darn. I remember where I had it last, so we're just going to use freeze off. Like I said, just a light oil. Freeze off is a little more of an expensive product, etc., whatever. It's still got its lubrication properties. So it's actually its design purpose right here might be my friend. Let's that right there is some copyrighted music we got to kill. That's my ringtone for Mistress Tow Wrecker, but I'll call her back in a minute. But anyway, that stuff does get awful cold, that freeze off does. And I said it was the rounded one, so let's goes on that way. I think. Where'd I put the old one? Darn y'all, why'd you steal my old one? I do this about every, I don't know, 10 years. I know that's right, but I want to look anyway. And I hate to cut you off and review my video just to see because I can't find the old gear. Did I throw it on the ground? Oh, I did, didn't I? I'm pretty sure it's right. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why I asked myself these questions. I mean, I knew it was, but right there. And we're going to drive that home with a block of wood, but anyway, I'm going to wipe my hands off and call her back, and I will bring this video right back in where I left off. With a few less cuss words, probably. So hang on.